Hello, everyone. I am honored to be part of this year's Humanities Symposium as I help facilitate a conversation on freedom. The title of my presentation is Blasphemy and Freedom of Speech in France. My name is Stephanie Stoltz, and I am a senior French major here at Messiah. I actually took a French current events course here last semester, where I followed along with some of the events that I will be explaining to you today. So first off, the satirical publication Charlie Hebdo will be at the center of this presentation. We will explore why the illustrated covers of some of the issues of their weekly magazine have been so controversial, and we'll also question for ourselves how far freedom of speech should reach. To begin our conversation, we will look at the law to see what forms of speech are protected in France. The Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen is the document we will be referencing today. And this declaration dates from the French Revolution in 1789 and is still active in French civil code today. Article 19 in this declaration protects the right to freedom of speech, so long as the speech in question is not defamatory and does not incite hate towards a people group. Both spoken and written speech are protected, so this extends to freedom of the press as well. I also want to speak to the concept of secularism in France. Like in the United States, people in France have the freedom to worship as they please. The main difference between these two countries can be described as follows. The US offers freedom of religion for people to choose how to exercise as they see fit, while France offers freedom from religion, impacting public spaces and the public lives of citizens. So keeping this in mind regarding the law and French culture, I implore you to ask yourself whether Charlie Hebdo was looking to insult or spread hate against Islam in their satiric caricatures of the Prophet, or if the publication was staying true to their motto of being satirical and mocking anything and everything in accordance with French law and customs. The front page of each weekly magazine features an illustration that mocks current events, often regarding politics or religion. For example, French President Emmanuel Macron, in the middle there, has been featured many times, as well as former American President Trump and British politician Boris Johnson. Cartoons depicting Jesus, Jews, and the Prophet Muhammad have all been featured as well. We should also understand how offensive some of these images can be, especially for followers of Islam. First, any depiction of Muhammad is banned in many prominent sects of Islam. This protects the holiness of the Prophet, as any image of him may be regarded as blasphemy. Then, as if a simple image of him isn't bad enough, one particular cover of Charlie Hebdo was even described as a pornographic depiction of him, adding insult to injury. Since the 1990s, there have been lawsuits filed against the publication Charlie Hebdo. From 1992 to 2014, about 50 suits were filed, some of which the publication won, and some of which they lost. It is safe to say that the publication is surrounded in controversy. Infamously, many of you may know about Charlie Hebdo from the attack on their headquarters in 2015. After publishing a special edition titled Sharia Hebdo with Muhammad on the cover, an edition directly mocked Islamic Sharia law. The headquarters of Charlie Hebdo in Paris were attacked by two men with guns, leaving 14 people dead and multiple others injured. The two attackers were known to be practicing Islam and witnessed to have made the attack for reasons regarding their faith. Immediately after the attack, people began to rally in support of the publications and journalists' right to freedom of expression. Former French President François Hollande quickly spoke out condemning the violence, as did French Islamic organizations. The hashtag Je suis Charlie, or I am Charlie, went viral worldwide to express solidarity with the publication. The trial for the 2015 attack on Charlie Hebdo occurred just last year, in September 2020. At the start of the trial, the magazine decided to republish some of the old characters of the Prophet Muhammad, which was met with resistance in Islamic countries including Pakistan and Turkey, where protests were held against the publication and boycotts were held banning the sale of French products. Then in October, more violence followed this story. A middle school teacher named Samuel Paty showed one of Charlie Hebdo's cover pages depicting Muhammad in class while teaching about freedom of speech. Over the next school break, Paty was killed in response to this incident. Again, the French president, this time Emmanuel Macron, spoke out condemning the violence, as did French Islamic organizations and leaders. In one of his speeches pictured here, Macron specifically defended the right to blasphemy in support of Charlie Hebdo, as there is no national French law that deems blasphemy a crime. The French people also expressed solidarity following the murder of teacher Samuel Paty, including teachers who protested with the slogan, Je suis prof, or I am a teacher, mimicking the phrase Je suis Charlie from 5 years ago. I have shared all of this with you as a reminder of the consequences that our actions can have. While we may not be able to see all of the possible outcomes of our actions, we still need to act responsibly when exercising our freedoms. French law protects the rights of people to practice a religion of their choosing, and also for people to express themselves freely in the press, even if that means critiquing and mocking current events, political figures, and religions to an extent that may be deemed blasphemous. While certainly being controversial, Charlie Hebdo's freedom of expression in the press continues to remain protected as prescribed by French law, since it has not specifically defamed or incited violence against Islam. To be clear, inciting violence or committing any act of violence is never okay, regardless of the circumstances surrounding the event. I am not justifying any of the violent attacks that have happened in the events described here. The attacks that have occurred related to Charlie Hebdo have all been tragic. It is because we have freedom that we must consider the responsibility we hold. Having protected freedom of speech is a privilege that should not be taken lightly, especially when that speech can be deemed blasphemous. Thank you for your attention. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and the other presentations that you see today. Thank you.